BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. President Biden has confirmed that the US will provide Ukraine with advanced rocket artillery systems. The weapons have a much longer range than artillery already delivered. Mr. Biden said they would allow Ukraine to strike Russian targets more precisely. Tim Orman reports.
Writing in the New York Times, President Biden said, "We have moved quickly to send Ukraine a significant amount of weaponry and ammunition so it can fight on the battlefield and be in the strongest possible position at the negotiating table." The weaponry includes the M142 High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, missiles that have a range of around 80 kilometres or 50 miles. US officials have been given assurances they won't be used to strike targets inside Russia. The missiles will be welcomed in Kyiv. They had been requesting them for some time, and their military is losing ground in the east.
Russian troops have been advancing and consolidating their positions in Severodonetsk, the last major city in the Luhansk region still in Ukrainian hands. The governor says the invaders have also carried on their relentless bombardment. But the city doesn't appear to be encircled, giving the Ukrainians the opportunity to withdraw to new defensive positions across the river Donetsk. The BBC has heard multiple allegations of torture inside the Ukrainian city Kherson, currently under Russian occupation. A hospital doctor said he'd seen patients with burns from irons and cigarettes, signs of electric shock, strangulation marks, fractures and severe bruising. The secretary of the Novokhatrovka City Council in the region, Dmitro Vasilyev, was held for 46 days.
The worst time was at the end. I was in solitary confinement and heard people being beaten upstairs every day, handcuffed to the radiator. My family was so worried.
Residents of China's biggest city, Shanghai, are enjoying a semblance of freedom again, 2 months after the authorities ordered a coronavirus lockdown, saying it would only last a matter of days. From Shanghai, here's our correspondent, Robin Brandt.
It was supposed to last just over a week, a staggered lockdown, state media said, to lessen the impact on the economy. In the end, it lasted 65 days. But China's communist leaders insist it was necessary to lock down Shanghai, to contain an Omicron outbreak, to stick to President Xi Jinping's zero-COVID policy. The restrictions have been lifted as quickly as they were imposed. But more than 500,000 people here remain confined to their homes, still classified as living in sealed-off areas.
BBC News. Strict water restrictions are coming into force for millions of Californians after the driest start to a year on record. People in the Central Valley agricultural heartland, who've struggled with water shortages and contamination for years, say it's time for people in metropolitan areas to play their part. There'll now be a limit on outdoor watering and fines for excessive use. Sophie Long reports.
NASA, which monitors changing water levels, is warning the western United States is now entering one of the worst droughts ever seen. Warmer temperatures combined with less rainfall and snow is causing reservoirs like Lake Mead on the Arizona-Nevada border to dry up. 25 million people across 3 states and Mexico are dependent on the reservoir for water. But with the so-called mega drought now in its 23rd year, it is only 30% full. Farmers are already feeling the pain.
Israeli soldiers say they've shot dead a Palestinian woman who approached them holding a knife in the occupied West Bank. The Israeli military said the woman tried to stab the soldiers near the Al Arub refugee camp north of Hebron. None of the soldiers were injured. The Palestinian Health Ministry said the 31-year-old woman died from a bullet wound to the chest. The chief executive of one of Germany's leading asset management firms, DWS, has resigned, hours after police raided the company's offices in Frankfurt, as well as those of its majority owner, Deutsche Bank. Asoka Wirman said he was stepping down because of allegations that DWS misled investors about the environmental impact of investments. DWS denies the allegations of greenwashing. Scientists have discovered the world's largest known plant off Western Australia. It's a seagrass whose area is the size of 20,000 football pitches. It took more than 4,000 years to grow. BBC News.